Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about who I think the best unit in the game is, and it's specifically going to be sort of pairing two units together against each other and then talking about who I think's better and why, and then also what I could see possibly happening in the near future for the game, and then who could be, claiming the new title of best unit in the game. So, just looking at my box here, the two units at the highest power level are Beerus and Cooler. Beerus is only at red 3, Cooler is fully maxed out. They're both fully soul boosted in terms of all the way up to 1400%. When you look at tier lists for this game, I think most of the time people aren't really considering Zenkai 7 units because 99.9% of the player base is not going to have even a single Zenkai 7 unit, besides maybe Kid Goku. I think obviously he's the most obtainable Zenkai 7 unit because he's free. But if you're talking about like the summonable ones, nearly no one is going to have that when you're considering the grand scheme of everybody playing this game and the population of the entire player base. So I think it's fair to leave them out in terms of like talking about like, who's the best unit, etc., etc. So I think this is sort of going to be a unique look at what I think are the best units in the game, and then I think it's pretty obvious, just from using the 3 Zenkai 7 units that I have here, the summonable versions, that they do stand apart from the rest of the game pretty obviously in terms of power level. Like I would even put, like I know Yellow Goku Black people weren't super impressed by my showcase of him, but using him a decent amount, I mean he definitely does feel more powerful than every other non-Zenkai 7 unit in the game. It's just, I don't know, that's just how it feels to me. I mean maybe some of like the more brand new units in terms of like just straight up damage that they can deal, like Kefla I think can deal more damage than Goku Black at the beginning of a fight, but as the fight ramps on, Goku Black can easily outdamage Kefla. I'm talking about one blast card like killing multiple characters in a row. Like he starts to ramp up insane at the end of a match. So I mean it just depends on how you want to use these guys, but I think at this point in time the two units that I would consider to be the best of the best are Beerus and Cooler. A lot of people would put Majin Buu in that same discussion. I don't have him at Zenkai 7, so I'm not going to be able to say it with any definitiveness or like a lot of confidence or whatever. But I think Beerus is better than Buu in Zenkai 7. I don't think it's that difficult to see. Buu is obviously insanely good. I think those 3 are at the top. So you have like all the units in the game just in one tier. Then in the other tier you have all the Zenkai 7 units, because I think all the Zenkai 7 units are just better than everyone who's not Zenkai 7. I mean, it's just how it works at this point. And then even within that Zenkai tier, I think you have like a split where Buu, Beerus, and Cooler are all in that one tier above all the rest of the Zenkai units. Again, I don't have Broly, Buu, Goku, or Gohan at Zenkai 7, so I'm not going to be able to really talk about them in depth, but I've obviously seen a lot of footage of Zenkai 7 Buu. I've played against a lot of Zenkai 7 Buus, and I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm 10 times more terrified to play against the Zenkai 7 Beerus than a Zenkai 7 Buu. That's just how it is. And just from what I've seen, I mean, obviously he does a lot of damage, but Beerus just does way too much. His kit it far surpasses what Buu can do. So in that sense, I have Beerus just surpassing Buu. Buu is obviously number 3, I think. I think Cooler is also in the same discussion as Buu and Beerus. We'll talk about that in a second, but so those 3 are sort of in their own tier, right? That's where I have them right now. And then all the rest of the Zenkai units are in the lower portion, I guess, the tier 2 of Zenkai 7 tier, which is again still above everybody else in the game. Keep that in mind. So Cooler. The reason why Cooler is so insane is just because I feel like it's pretty apparent, and if you've watched my showcase on him, I'm going to be uploading more videos of him in the future, so just keep your eye out for that. The damage that Cooler does cannot be replicated by any other unit in the game. It is like, let me just pull him up. It is so oppressive. I literally, you start the match, and within the first 5 seconds, he can kill a unit in like 2 cards. It is unparalleled. No other unit in the game can actually do that, unless you're like using like purple Vegeta and you lock in like a Kefla or something, and you can kill her in like the first 10 counts. Like, yeah, that's possible. But I'm talking just like on the norm. This Cooler you start out with Cooler. He has blast armor, so he's able to get in there really easily, and he just literally annihilates everything. It's actually really not, and I'm saying this as like the biggest LoE fan of all time. It doesn't really feel fair. And I don't know if that's what they were going for. I mean, obviously Zenkai 7 is something that very minimal players are going to be able to get access to. So maybe that's what they were going for, and maybe they don't care if like 0.1% of the population is able to abuse that. But it is far and away just more absurd than anything else in this game. His damage output is like, I don't even understand what they were going for, but all of the stuff he's doing, he's not only doing a lot of damage, he's also doing supporting. Like, just where is this unique that gives all the stuff? This one right here, the Call of Evil. 40%? 40%, by the way, is what the Feet Goku gives fully built up. So this guy's doing that, and he's also the best damaging unit in the game. And actually, no, hold on, that's not the right one. 35%, sorry. 35%, this is the one I was talking about. So he gives 35% to other LoE units. That is 5% lower than Feetku's maximum supporting ability. But keep in mind that Feetku's average buff that he's giving throughout the entire match is definitely below 35%, because it takes time to ramp up to that, and across the entire match he's probably giving an average of like 20%, maybe even lower. So this guy's giving that and crit rate while having blast armor, while having all these buffs, while, you know, even because the biggest thing that this LoE team was having an issue with prior to this guy getting a Zenkai Awakening was regen. Regen, obviously, this team is super geared towards dealing with Saiyans. They do a lot of extra damage versus Saiyans, etc. But this guy now afflicts minus 20% to health restoration for 20 timer counts against an enemy when he uses a strike card. This guy's hand is always going to be filled with strike cards because of this green card. And you draw the green card by using the ultimate skill, and it just chains into just madness because it generates strike cards in your hand, and then you also want to bring units that hold strike cards, so it makes it easier to continue combos, use blast armor, and it just snowballs into some absurd like combo where you just kill everything. And then like you just take a look at everything else. Like, they didn't have to give him any of this stuff. Like, he didn't need these two uniques to be in that upper tier of Zenkai 7 units. I think even if he got nothing, like even if he didn't get this, and he didn't get this, and he just had these two things here, I think he would still be in that upper tier along with Boo and Beerus. But him having this, and him having this, it's just too much. So at this point, I think, along with the rest of his team, because I do think LoE is the best team in the game right now, I don't think it's even close, to be honest. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, you're obviously saying that because you're an LoE fanboy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just stating what I think, right? I mean, you can think whatever you want. You could think Fusions is better. Spoilers, it's not better. You can think Regen is better. Spoilers, it's not better. I'm just telling you what the facts are. This team is the best team in the game. And this is the team that I'm running right now in PvP. Obviously, yeah, it's super well out, whatever, but I don't understand how you can lose with this team. If you're playing, like if you know the ins and outs of how PvP works, if you know how sort of like the way tackle interacts with strike, you can abuse Cooler's blast armor so much that it's so easy to get priority, and then once Cooler gets priority, it's game over, no matter what. I fought against a Zenkai 1 Boo with this Cooler. Cooler killed him in one combo from full to zero. It's like nothing can survive. It's just that simple. So this is the team I'm using for Cooler. I mean, this is I've never had an issue winning with this team. The only match I've lost this season, actually no, I lost two. The first one I lost was because I plugged my iPhone in to my charger, and it gave me like that pop-up where it's like accessory isn't supported or whatever, and it DC'd me. And then the other one was because my internet dropped, and I just lost. But those are the only two losses I have, and they weren't even legitimate losses. So this is the team for Cooler. I think this is... by the way, he also gets 100% key recovery at all times if you're running him alongside the LF Frieza. So it's just pure insanity. I mean, the way I play this team, and you guys will see this later when I upload more showcases later, because my gameplay sort of with this team has been evolving, just becoming more familiar with Cooler and his blast armor and stuff like that. I basically just leave Cooler in the entire match, and then my bench, or not my bench, but my two other units that I bring are LF Frieza and then full power. And it's like, if you lose priority, you literally just switch into one of those two, and you basically nullify any damage that they do, because those are the two insanely tanky units. Because LF Frieza, even if you don't get his knockback, he still has, what is it, like 30-35% damage reduction? So it's still really, really good. So I don't know, this is sort of like a one-man show. This is just Cooler's team. And I think the damage that he's doing is just way too high. So I think he, at this point, when comparing him with someone like Beerus, because again, I do think Beerus and Cooler are above Boo. I would put Cooler above Beerus at this point. I do think that Cooler is the best unit in the game, strictly talking about Zenkai 7. Now, that's not to say Beerus is bad, because this is the team I use for Beerus. Look at how, like, okay, this is a really not optimal makeup of this team. It's really hard to explain. The only reason why I have this team set up like this is because it's all centered around this guy, Purple Vegeta. The meta right now is exclusively fusions. Like, I play fusions maybe 19 out of 20 matches in a row. So if you counter Kefla, then you pretty much just win. And that's one reason why I think, going back to LoE for a second, you could actually replace this Pod Frieza, which I'm considering replacing him, because you never bring him, because you never want to run two blues in this meta where Kefla is in every other match, or literally every match. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking about replacing him. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I might take him out for the yellow EX second form Frieza. I still have to decide. Maybe Chilled. Chilled would actually help a lot, but that's not, instead of damage, that's just more survivability, which this team really doesn't need more of. But going back to the God Key team, obviously Purple Vegeta is there just to deal with Kefla. What you do is you start off with Rose, you apply his buffs, his debuffs. Then you go into Beerus, you apply his buffs and debuffs, and then you go into Vegeta and you just kill anything. You lock them in, and you switch him in, he gains Ki, he draws a strike card when he switches in, and it's pretty much the end of anything that's green, right? That's the strategy with this team. And I won a lot of matches using that strategy. But the thing is with this team, there really isn't a big gun on this team, besides Beerus himself. Beerus is easily the top dog on God Key team. It's not even up for debate. Like, Zenkai 7 Beerus, if you have him, it's over. Like, he does locking man ability, which basically, like, I think only one or two other units in the game do. He locks... Okay, I should take a look. He seals one card when he comes in with this, which is so annoying. And then I believe he makes all your cards cost more. Where is that? Special arts costs by 15. This, by the way, this unique right here is probably one of the best uniques in the game. I would say it's top 5 unique in the game. 20% of damage inflicted for 20 counts, and then he inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 20% for 20 counts too. That's basically a 40% increase in damage for 20 counts, which means if you switch out of this guy, and then you switch back into him after his 10 timer counts have elapsed of not being able to be switched in again, he will have these buffs. So you can sort of just stack them on top of each other, and then he also has this extra thing where special art, so green cards cost 15 more, which is kind of annoying for the enemy. Like, this is what's going to make him... this is where we sort of to get into, like, the Beerus versus Cooler thing, because at this point I would say Cooler is better. But this unique down here, I mean, you take a look at all the God Key units that we have yet to get, like UI Goku, UI Sign Goku, Vegito Blue, Gogeta Blue, Jiren possibly be on God Key, God Topo will be on God Key, Evolution Blue Vegito will be on God Key. We get new versions of Beerus, we get new versions of Whis, we get other Gods of Destruction, we get just new Kaioken Blue Gokus, we get new Blue Gokus, new Blue Vegetas. Like, there's so many God Key units that are going to come out in this game. Merge Zamasu, like, there's so many. So, and then you start getting into, like, the transforming ones too. So yeah, once we get all those units, we'll get transforming versions of all those. Transforming Gogeta Blue, transforming Vegeta Blue, transforming Rose. Like, so many different God Key units are going to come out. This team has so much more potential to grow than LoE does. They can go ahead and just print out a bunch of new LoE units. that are just going to be rehashes too. So I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but you talk about the hype units, Vegito Blue, that's anniversary worthy. Gogeta Blue, anniversary worthy. UI Goku, anniversary worthy. So they're all eventually going to be on this team. So if you pair up Beerus with this unique, with those LFs, I assume they're going to be LFs, like LF Vegeta Blue, LF Gogeta Blue, etc. This team is easily going to be better than LOE. It's not even going to be close. And at that point, Beerus will overtake Cooler as. Well, at that point, he might not be the best unit in the game, but he'll be better than Cooler at that point. So in terms of potential and who I think is a better investment for the long run, I do think Beerus is going to overtake Cooler at some point as being just a more usable and better unit because of the fact that God Key has so much more room to be the best team in the game than LOE does. And that's me saying that, right? I would much rather prefer LOE be better. It's just my opinion. But it's just, you can't deny the fact that God Key is just... I mean, just take a look at Realm of Gods and Dokkan. I don't know if you guys play Dokkan, but it started like 2-3 years ago, and it just has morphed into some like absurdly overpowered team. Like everything is just ridiculous on that team, and that's what's going to happen in this game too, with God Key. So, in terms of Cooler versus Beerus, in conclusion, I would say Cooler right now is better, simply because that's where the teams are. And Cooler's damage is just, it's too oppressive at this point in the game. And that's something else to talk about too, just briefly. I feel like the meta has morphed into, instead of being uber defensive like it was with Regen, like even just a month ago or 2 months ago, every match was going on for way too long. Like Regen was super dominant, and all of a sudden they print these units, or they create these units that, you know, Kefla Go tanks that just do literally absurd nuking amounts of damage. And now this Cooler, where it doesn't matter how tanky you are, you just die. So in that meta, I think Cooler with his blast armor is definitely the better unit, and this team is definitely up there because of the fact that this guy's still, again, one of the best tanks in the game, and this guy also, you know, providing that support, providing the knockback, providing the tanking, the healing. Like, it's just, this team has the complete package, and this team currently does not. So that's the big difference there. So again, in conclusion, I think Cooler is the best unit in the game right now. Zenkai 7, again, just exclusively talking about Zenkai 7. And then I think this team with Beerus will be better at some point. So Beerus, so again, Cooler best unit in the game. Beerus will overtake him at some point, without a question. I would bet my house on that. We will definitely see that happening. Maybe even this anniversary it'll happen. We don't know. But that was this discussion. I know this might not really apply to a lot of you guys because most people, again, don't have Zenkai 7 units, but I just thought it would be a fun discussion. You know, who's the best unit in the game? Like, people like to talk about that stuff. So that those are my thoughts, and hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.